What I love about Tele Latino is it's truly a grassroots broadcaster. Thanks to the productions that I've either directed or written or produced with the network, I've been able to get to know the Hispanic and the Italian community across the country, to talk with the people, to tell their stories in their language and in a way that is relevant to them. I've been very fortunate to work with Tele Latino, to collaborate with Tele Latino for almost 14 years. We've been able to travel across Canada, tell the stories of the Hispanic and the Italian communities. We've been able to go to Italy, go to Guatemala, to Colombia, and get stories and tell them in a Canadian way, in a Hispanic or Italian Canadian way. What's interesting about Tele Latino now is, as the media landscape changes, Tele Latino knows that they need to innovate. In the last 2 or 3 years, every single show that we create for broadcast has also a social media and a digital component. So what's exciting is the way that we tell stories has evolved. So it's not only a 1-hour show in Italian or in Spanish, but then we also build websites, we create games and apps, and in that process, I've actually learned. I mean, thanks to the content that we've produced with Tele Latino, I think the way I tell stories and the way I conceive projects has evolved. Tele Latino is really a broadcaster that's adapting to the media reality of the 21st century and making sure that the voice of Hispanics and of Italians and of their generations is relevant and continues to build part of the discourse that makes up this great country. Tele Latino was one of my first jobs in Canada. When I heard about the fact that there was a broadcaster that blended Hispanic and Italian culture, at the beginning I didn't even understand how that would work. But when I started working with El Latino and creating content in all these different languages, I realized that the shows we made spoke to the community and connected with the people at a very grassroots level. So people have been portrayed in Tele Latino, their stories, their immigrant stories, their suffering, their achievements, and we've done it in creative ways. Something that I believe is really valuable about the content that we create at Tele Latino is that the stories we produce speak about the immigrant experience and say it in an organic, in a truthful way. In Italian, in Spanish, in many cases in English. So we are telling all these stories that in a lot of media outlets are simply not told. Tele Latino, in a way, has also become a new voice for people that don't necessarily have Hispanic or Italian background, but that want to hear these stories, want to learn about this culture. And that's exciting. That's exciting because that's really how culture evolves. That's really how the voice of the country is enriched by different perspectives, by different experiences. One amazing example about the power of Tele Latino is South Sound St. Clair. I remember the first time that people started discussing about this project in Tele Latino. It was about doing a street festival, like a lot of cities in Canada, but adding a Hispanic flavor to it, making sure it had the food, the music, the culture, the dance that was relevant to Hispanics. But the vision was always not just create a street festival for Hispanics, but create a street festival with Hispanics for everybody in the city. South Sound St. Clair, after almost 12 or 14 years of existence, is relevant to Toronto. Is a cultural staple of the city. And that is the power of Tele Latino. It's a grassroots media organization that keeps a constant dialogue with the communities it serves, with the Italian and the Hispanic community, but it also extrapolates the content created and makes sure it reaches all Canadians.